Hello, everybody. This is the Pocket Passer. I'm your host, Randy White. I hope all of you are having a fantastic day. I know I am. Week 5 is just around the corner with kickoff tomorrow night on Thursday night. I'm giving you my 2 locks. This week I do have 2 upsets, and then my game of the week pick this week. The game of the week this week is the Sunday night matchup between the Ravens and the Bengals. I will circle back to that at the end of the video, starting off with my locks. My first lock is Chiefs hosting the Raiders. I have the Chiefs -7. I'm taking the Chiefs -7 to win 38-30. The Chiefs have looked very, very good to start the year. The Raiders have looked very, very mediocre to start the year. I've been very unimpressed with a lot of the aspects of their team. Just sloppy play in general. They have not been a fan of holding on to leads that they get themselves. Meanwhile, the Chiefs have been dominant in all of their games, except for their loss against the Colts. The Chiefs have looked very, very good, and I expect them to continue to roll and dominate the Raiders pretty well. I think that this is a team with a better quarterback, better play caller in Andy Reid, better tight end, possibly a better running back situation, better offensive line. Their defense is playing better football right now, with the exception of some of the takeaways takeaway the Raiders had last week that gave them a touchdown on the Scoop 6. But other than that, I think the Chiefs defense has played more consistent, better football. I just like the Chiefs more this week. So the Chiefs -7, 38-30. My second lock is a team that just played the Chiefs. They just lost the Chiefs. They're going to be angry. This is a Tom Brady-led Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. They're not going to lose 2 straight, not this early in the season. Well, they're not going to lose 3 straight, excuse me. They lost to the Packers, and then they lose to the Chiefs. They're not going to continue that losing streak this weekend. I think they dominate the Atlanta Falcons. The Bucs are favored -8.5. I'm taking that. I have them winning 34-20. The Buccaneers are just an all-around better football team, and they're going to show it this weekend in a game where I think they're really going to dominate Atlanta on all fronts. I think their defensive line will dominate. The one thing that might struggle is Atlanta's pass rush might get some pressure on Tom Brady, might make him struggle a little bit, but the receivers are getting healthier. Leonard Fournette has performed significantly better than I had expected him to since he came into camp overweight, and I severely underestimated what his production would be this year. He's still a good back. He's still a productive back, and Tom Brady is still Tom Brady. I've seen him throw some of the hardest passes I've seen him make in the last several years so far this season. He is absolutely cooking the ball when he throws it. He's still got a lot of arm strength, and he's still got a lot left in the tank. As long as he wants to keep playing, he's going to come back and get his team back in the right direction this weekend against the Falcons, 34-20, -8.5. Now, my upset picks. Patriots hosting the Detroit Lions. Patriots are favored -3. I'm taking the Lions to win, +3, 31-7. Their defense has been horrendous. Despite having the #1 scoring offense in the league, their defense is the 32nd scoring defense in the league. And they just gave up 48 points to the Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith-led offense. Geno Smith looking good so far to start the year. The second highest completion percentage in NFL history through the first 4 weeks of the season. Like I said yesterday, only behind Tom Brady. One of his great seasons that he had back in the late 2000s with Randy Moss, where he had 79% completion percentage the first 4 weeks. Geno Smith has looked good, but nonetheless, Lions defense has been nothing short of embarrassing the last several weeks. I expect them to kind of pick it up. The Patriots offense is unimpressive. They did put up 24 points against a good Packers defense last week, but I think we can attribute that more to the quarterback change. They had a more mobile quarterback that the Packers defense did not game plan for. They game plan for Brian Hoyer, a pocket passer. He goes out. Bailey Zappi, who's significantly more mobile than Brian Hoyer, comes in, and I think that may have kind of shook up some of the game planning that Green Bay had made. Not to mention Green Bay was also missing their starting corner, their best corner, Jair Alexander. But I think the Lions bounce back. Their offense has shown and proven week in and week out they can put up points, and they can put up the amount of points necessary to win football games if their defense can just make some plays. I think their defense does make some plays. Malcolm Rodriguez has looked very good. Rookie middle linebacker that Detroit picked up. He's looked excellent. He's been one of the highest graded rookies week in and week out to start the season. I really like what I've seen from him. Jeff Okudah has been excellent for the most part this season, locking down his very good receivers that he's covered in the first 3 weeks of the season. He's not going to have a significantly talented receiver that he'll have to line up against this week. I think he gets the job done. I think the Lions defense doesn't necessarily play lights out, but I think they do enough to allow the Lions offense to put enough points on the board as long as Bill Belichick doesn't get crafty and force Jared Goff into some pick sixes or something like that, which is very possible. Bill Belichick is known for giving certain quarterbacks fits. We'll see if Jared Goff falls into that category or not. This weekend, I had the Lions winning 31-27. I'm taking them +3. Second upset pick, the Jets are hosting the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are favored -3. Without Tua, I'm taking the Jets +3. Zach Wilson played solid in their win versus a very good Pittsburgh defense. Even without TJ Watt, that defense is still good. They were able to put up 24 points and get the win, including a game-winning drive in the closing seconds from Zach Wilson. I was very impressed with the Jets' overall performance and the way they were able to close out that game. Granted, they were helped out by 3 turnovers in the second half. But still, I am impressed with the way the Jets were able to close out the game. Like I said, I have them winning 23-17. No doubt about it, Tyreek Hill's going to put up numbers. He's exceptional. He's proved that despite Tua being out, he will still put up numbers with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback. But I don't think the Dolphins are going to be able to get the job done without their starting signal caller out there on Sunday. So I have the Jets winning this 23-17. I'm taking them +3. And finally, game of the week, Sunday Night Football. Ravens hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. The Ravens are favored -3, but I think Cincinnati is starting to roll now. I feel like they're starting to get a little bit more into a groove. The Ravens secondary has struggled. They've blown 17-plus point leads in back-to-back weeks, including a 35-14 lead over the Dolphins and then a 20-3 lead over the Bills. They blew both those leads. And the Bengals, I think, well, they just beat the Dolphins for one. And the way the Bills have played the last 2 weeks, I think the Bengals might actually be comparable to them. They look like they are by far the best team in the league the first 2 weeks of the season. But every team's kind of got that roller coaster, and the Bills are no exception. In fact, the Bills are kind of the definition of a roller coaster. They go up and down. They need to figure some things out. There's a little bit of sloppy play there. I still think they're an exceptional football team. They lost Micah Hyde. Their defense stepped it up regardless, especially in the second half. Second half shutout on the Ravens. But that's beside the point. The Ravens' offense was unable to put up points in the entire second half of that game. They did not look good. It was a struggle for them to move the ball, and especially a struggle for them to put points on the board. They didn't do it in the second half. Bengals defense has kind of been known as a team that really steps it up in the second half, especially last year. That's what they're known for. If they can do that again to Baltimore, and if Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins can get open against single high coverages against the Ravens, if the Ravens are forced to run single high, the Bengals can get the run game going with Joe Mixon. They're not going to be stoppable. The key to this game for the Ravens is their front seven has to figure it out, winning one-on-one blocks against the Bengals offensive line. If they can do that, and it can allow their secondary to play in 2 high shells, they have a good shot at winning this game. But if they get forced into single high shells and Joe Mixon's just tearing it up against a 2 high shell, the Ravens are going to be in big trouble having one safety back, having to guard T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Tyler Boyd. It's going to be a rough sight to see, and they're going to be able to do pretty much what they did last year. So that's the key to this game. I think the Bengals are going to be able to put up enough points, and I think the Ravens offense once again gets off to a hot start and slows down in the second half. I have the Bengals winning +3, 27-23. That's my game of the week. And then just a little side note that I'm doing this week, not necessarily going to be something I do every single week, but the Bills are favored -14 against the Steelers in Buffalo. I think the Bills win that game. They're a better team, especially with TJ Watt out for Pittsburgh, and it's a rookie quarterback going up against a good defense. But don't be shocked at all, since this rookie quarterback's second game playing, and it's going to be his first start. Do not be even a little bit shocked if Kenny Pickett is able to be productive, maybe get some scoring drives, kind of have Buffalo on the ropes for a little bit before Buffalo takes the game over. Don't be surprised at all if this happens. Minus 14 is a huge, huge stretch, and if I were a betting man, I might want to take the Steelers plus 14 to cover that point differential. The Bills are a much better team, but I just have a feeling that Kenny Pickett's going to be able to play well enough early to keep Pittsburgh in the game early, and I don't think Buffalo is going to be able to get out to big enough of a lead to make it a 14-point game late. Obviously, Buffalo is very capable, though, of blowing out just about anyone in the league. So if they get rolling early, Pittsburgh's going to fall out of it. It really comes down to how Pittsburgh starts the game. If they can get some good drives early, they can stick with it and they can cover. If they don't start early, they're not going to cover. The Bills will win this minus 14 spread. So that's really what it comes down to. I'm leaning Steelers plus 14 on that one. So that's all I got for you guys. I'm going to recap them real quick. Chiefs Raiders, I got the Chiefs minus 7. That's my first lock, 38-30. Buccaneers Falcons, that's my second lock. Bucks minus 8.5, 34-20. My upsets, Patriots versus Lions. Lions plus 3, 31-27. Jets versus Dolphins. Jets plus 3, 23-17. That's my second upset. Game of the week, Ravens Bengals. Bengals plus 3, 27-23. And then my side note, Steelers plus 14 if they can get off to a hot start with Kenny Pickett before the Bills put things away late. That's all I got for you guys. If you want to see more content from the channel, if you want to see when I upload further videos, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notifications turned on if you want to see when I upload in the future. If you want to check out my content on other platforms, I have an Instagram account and a TikTok account. Go ahead and follow them at The Pocket Passer as well. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you in the next episode.